I hope that, we have 35 minutes. We will try to obviously shorten this because Mr. Gupta has to take a flight. So I don't want to take much this thing, and he has to eat lunch. But coming back, I think here we had very wonderful session so far. Yesterday we had a session on how the CFO actually would be, working, and how the new work would actually look like for a CFO. Then we have a panel discussion this afternoon, which talked about, or in the morning, which talked about, what kind of digital initiatives which the office would look like, from today and, which is going forward, 3 years from now, 5 years from, hence. So then the theme of the, panel discussion today is, right now, is to see how actually, how are we going to manage the CFO office, the finance office per se, from now on until obviously, future, how the future looks like for a CFO office. Obviously, Dr. Ballabh actually did give some glimpse, but I would, ask my panel members now to understand, what they feel about how the actual, CFO office or the finance office would look like going forward. In terms of, given that, we have been talking digital too much time, and, so given the digital transformation the companies are going through, and the governance aspect of the whole thing, which I think, the previous panel also touched upon some of that. But I wanted, if you can dwell upon, so I'll start with, Radha, and then we will forward with other panel members, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's very difficult to hold anybody before lunch session, especially if it is after 1 o'clock. Everything was spoken in the last few sessions, yesterday as well today, and all of you also know the digitization, automation, the so-called AI, ML, predictive analysis. These are the way the future finance is going to drive. But one caution is, we should not just dump in just because everybody is doing. If the organization is not set in, like I used to visualize in Bangalore having a Mercedes CD classes doesn't work. The roads are just 20 feet, 25 feet, and how do you drive, how do you maneuver? So don't dump digitalization just for the sake of dumping. Is the organization prepared for it? I have a real life example in my company. The company believes in people, value, culture. So I can't go and say I will remove 20 people in finance just by doing automation, accounts receivable automation, email and everything. Are we prepared for it? How do we gradually transform them to digitalization is the key. Otherwise, digitalization will be a failure for us. We don't make any more of, like Rajnish was mentioning, trial balance of financial statement. Board meetings may not be reviewing the financials, probably the actions coming out of what your AI and predictive analysis shows. So we need to play a little safe, at least for the next decade, I would say. We are in the transformation phase, an AI coming, engine CAs are getting in, there are still the old timers believing what they are doing is right. So the current generation of CFOs will have to balance the emotional quotient and intelligent quotient. Then, of course, I can give.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I can go next. Very nice to see some people coming back. Otherwise, we were talking to ourselves on the stage. Thank you for coming back. I know Professor Vallabh was very good, but we'll not try to match him. We'll give you our industry perspective. So, digital transformation. I come from an organization where tech drives commerce for me. I represent Myntra. Right, so whatever we've done over the last 10 years on revenue, on customer, largely has been led by digital transformation, right? So if I give you a business perspective, we used AI in a very big way to drive customer acquisition for us in categories like beauty and personal care, right? Which are very look and feel categories, where on the screen of your phone you can see how a lipstick or a mascara will look on you and stuff like that. So a virtual trial assistant on the Myntra app, all of you have a personalized designer. Right, you can change your output and they will make you look better and younger, hopefully. We have an open large language model query, right, on Myntra, where you can type in a long sentence in a native language saying, if I'm going to Goa, can you suggest an outfit for me, and it will personalize the full outfit for you. So this is on the business side. On the finance side, I think, there are two things where our board keeps pushing us when it comes to online penetration for fashion in India. I am very grateful. I was talking with Rajnish sir in the morning, right? Had it not been for Jio, for example, India would not have had 980 million internet subscribers. We are 140 crore Indians, 98 crore Indians have internet today. So huge round of applause for organizations like Jio. And credit to them that companies like Myntra and Rahul Bothra from Swiggy has stepped outside to explain the professor that he's actually not causing inflation, he's reducing inflation. So I'll spare them with that. But when it comes to the digital internet penetration, 980 crore Indians have internet, 500 crore Indians transact on UPI, only 350 million, 35 crore Indians shop online, right? And of that, about 100 million or so are on quick commerce. So it's a big funnel for us to bridge that gap, and we have to use digital transformation in a very big way when it comes to reaching the Bharat tier 2 and tier 3 towns of India. That's my first approach. And the second approach is, we've all spoken gaga about AI, but AI has a big bad face also. It has a big ugly face also, right? All of us know where is cybercrime heading. All of us know what is happening with impersonation. All of us know what is happening with data theft and data privacy. And the government is also coming up with laws. At times it can be draconian because we are a very nascent organization or a company or a country when it comes to internet. But I think how does the CFO's office balance data privacy, balances the need for us to be on top when it comes to cyber crime prevention, risk management, and appropriate capital allocation to fund innovation to curb the bad aspects of technology. So I think these are the two aspects when it comes to digital transformation from an e-commerce sector.
Yeah, go ahead, Anand. Your thoughts, please.
Anand, Khetan here. So I look after two companies. One is into dairy and ice cream, and the second one is into footwear. So my take here is that digital transformation all of us are doing. We have done a lot, and lot more needs to be done into this. And coming on to what are the aspects? So smart contracts is one of the things. Real-time data analytics is one another aspect which companies need to look at this point of time. So I will give my relevant industry example. Like we are into retail and we are selling our products online and offline. So discounting is one part wherein real time we analyze what is the kind of sales going on, what is the consumer behavior, what is the market trend, and on that basis we decide our pricing strategy and discounting for the consumers. So all the data has to be on a real-time basis, which can only be possible through digital transformation. Milk being a very volatile industry, prices go up and down, and it has a big impact on margin because milk consumes 75% of our total P&L in case of dairy industry. And in case of any changes, we have to analyze and we have to take the price changes accordingly in terms of milk packets or any other commodities. Whatever we are selling. So we have more than 100 SKUs in terms of dairy and 100 plus in terms of ice cream. So for any changes, if the data is real time, basis the digital transformation, then only it can be done. We are doing couple of things. We are analyzing our profitability on a routine basis on a weekly frequency of 2 times a week, wherein we analyze where we are going wrong, what needs to be corrected, and we are able to do that only because of real-time data analytics. So, lot of things has been done, and there is a long way to go if CFO's office or finance office has to contribute to the organization.
So I think very clearly, everybody laid out that without artificial intelligence or digitization or automation, whatever word you can use it is difficult for any organization to function to the benefit of either sales or business or whichever obviously business is doing. I'll just give an example and then I'll actually come back to obviously the participants here of what they think. But I have worked in fertilizer as well as petrochemicals company, and I can tell you not just the real-time data, but how you can actually predict when the rains will happen, what kind of soil you need, how much fertilizer you need, simple things like that. when you actually give this information to the customers, which means your farmers or to your mine owners, and valuable, and it reduces huge amount of losses which as they will actually go through, and you are at a receiving end because they don't want to buy a product. So coming back to what the participants feel, I would basically now come down here to check if there are any comments here. Yes. Can you please?
There are various factors that drive the financial results, and if one is able to pull in a clean data into a data lake, I think at least the direction given to us is to build something where we are able to bring in a lot of business insights and value addition to our operating teams in terms of where are they missing the targets, what could be those factors, is it headcount, is it shrinkage. So we are a healthcare insurance company. We are a BPO company who cater to the healthcare insurance, and we have a call center. We also have back office operations. So most of our business comes from transactional volumes, call volumes, and it also depends on the availability of the agents. We are about 45,000 employees across globe, generating a revenue of about $750 million, and also listed in India. So the point I'm trying to articulate is that for us, the insights in terms of the human behavior, how efficiently we operate on those transactions are all important, and for that, I guess AI will be the future of the finance office to give those various kind of insights.
I have a different point of view. The moment we are depending more on data, more on AI, there are chances that people will try to manipulate data itself. The way we have seen that the reviews that comes on the online, paid reviews have started coming, and that started influencing the buying decision of the new customer. So those kind of things will happen, and we have to control that risk also. That the incorrect data, incorrect analysis, and incorrect decision making.
Data is going to be clean, we are going to have clear trends, predictive analysis. But the fact of the matter is, ambiguity is going to remain. So if you are expecting that future in finance is going to be like less ambiguous, probably compared to today it would be less, but ambiguity is not going to go away. Because there will be different sort of challenges in those stuff. Today the struggle which we face is dealing with ambiguity with the imperfect data. Now, a lot of those discussions which we are having since yesterday is like that technology is going to make this solution for us, but I think that skill continues to be relevant for future, that we have to deal with ambiguous situation, and it's not going to be perfect scenarios for us.
Kind of competencies or what kind of obviously abilities you need in the finance group or the future finance office, and we have discussed this in various obviously panels earlier also, which can actually continue to add value to the shareholders or stakeholders, or create value to the company or the business where they are dealing with. So I'll come to Radha then. So if you can share your thoughts around what kind of competencies or the skill sets which the people you would want to hire, which can be relevant 3 years out or 5 years out, which can be relevant, to do the job in the digitized, obviously, environment, whatever, would be.
See, I won't say one type will fit in all. It depends on the industry and company. If you are a fast-moving FMCG, it's different. If you're a hardcore manufacturing where lot of reliance on the manufacturing process, or the finance is more of an enabling or showing results later. So the technology, definitely everyone here will agree, we need to empower the future team members to be highly tech-oriented, how they can pull out data, share meaningful information instead of sharing data for the sake of sharing. More importantly, I feel the finance function will reduce to very critical area, because the way things are happening, the CEOs get the data the way they want it. They can get all insights. The marketing team gets insight. Everybody is getting insights. So what is it we are going to add? Earlier days, the CFO used to travel with the CEO for a big discussion. Now CEOs can handle it. The board discussions are not at all on financials. Nowadays itself I'm facing it. So the younger generation or the new team members will have to ensure they are tech savvy. They should be adaptable to the type of industry in which they are working. More importantly, what is a new tool which is available? Instead of, earlier we used to say the GST expert, Index expert, IFRS expert. I think all that will go away now. Everything is click up a button, you get US GAAP, IGAP, IFRS. Our friend sampled through all that. Now they are restricting only 2 currency. Tomorrow probably the same financial will come in 20 currencies also. So what is available in the market is what I think we should constantly be knowing. Better to know competition benchmarking, what is happening around the world. So what are the tools that will help us to upgrade ourselves in terms of, I won't say generalist, we are not a general manager, but how can we be smart? How can we be acceptable? And the one last thing is, cash was always with finance, earlier, now, in future also. Maybe a tool which can help us to have the cash in hand readily available at any point of time. How do we get the knowledge on knowing where cash is circulating, how I can depute cash, how I can make money. So these are something probably I would encourage my team to be developing on that.
That is where digital cash is coming. So some of that cash in hand problems will get sorted. Yeah, no, on the lighter side. But yeah, Abhishek, what about you?
Yeah, see, I was also talking with Mr. Nanda outside in the tea break. It also depends on how the CA Institute itself is thinking about churning out the students of the future, right? Today, a big reason for unemployment is not scarcity of jobs, but it is the skill gap, right? And there is published information and data. 40% of people who qualify after becoming a postgraduate student are not employable, right? So I think the onus is on us to also work with institutes to, nourish and throw up the students who are in future employable. That's the first point. That's the first basic principle. The second, I think, I will not add on to points of Radha. They are absolutely bang on. I will just add my new perspectives. The future of finance office has to work with insights and not data. More than 40-50% of our workforce today is working on Excel sheets and on data to turn data into insights. Less than 20% of our employable managerial base uses those insights to convert them into quality of decision making in the organization. Can that 20% become 80% in the future? Right? That is a mindset shift, and that will happen from the CFO's office. The last and the most important skill that the CFO's office will have to demonstrate is the concept of resilience. Right? Gone are the days when you do an AOP for the full year and you stick to those budgets January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and so on and so forth. You do your AOP. I come from an American organization, so we follow a calendar year and not a financial year. We close our AOP in November. Come February, there is some disruption that has come and hit you, and it is not America. Right? It is your local neighbor, a local D2C brand, a local MSC who is just solving for 5 lanes in Belandur of Bangalore. That is disruption. So will you as finance go and tell boss, sorry, I did my AOP, this is your budget, go fend for yourself, but I want that growth. Sorry, you'll have to solve and you'll have to be flexible. So that resilience is flexibility in budgets without letting your boat down on growth, EBITDA, and whatever are your financial guardrails. So I think the reskilling aspect has to start from the institute and end in the CFO's office, top down.
Anand, you have some thoughts on around that?
Yeah. So my perspective on this will be the future finance office rudimentary jobs are going to go away with technology coming in, AI coming in, and all the other aspects. Rudimentary jobs like bill booking, all those things will go away to a lot of extent. Second point will be the finance job or the future finance office will not only consist of CAs or MBAs only, as we are seeing in many companies with CFO's role being expanded and the expectations from the finance office being increasing. The other qualifications people will also join into the finance domain, like engineering. We were seeing some articles wherein finance team is also recruiting engineering people, IT people, and all those aspects. So with future, the finance office will not only include CAs or MBAs, it will include the experts from other domain also, including engineering, IT, wherein our expectations are increasing and we can deliver to the organization. Last but not the least, with COVID coming into the picture, everybody learned that people will work remotely and work from home and all those things. But once COVID went away, again expectations started coming that people should come to office. So what we believe is that the future of finance office will again be remote, because Gen Z doesn't like to travel for 2 hours, going to office 2 hours. So the future of finance office, we have to build a finance office wherein people are given that flexibility, people who are good. So one more aspect which I would like to mention is that many a times we are sitting in Gurgaon and most of our team members are based out of Kanpur. So we see lot of challenges in recruiting people once we tell that you have to be based out of Kanpur and we are based out of Gurgaon. So people prefer to work in Gurgaon. So that remote working has to start. If people can sit in Gurgaon and work for team based out of Kanpur or any other city, people are sitting in Bangalore, a technical expert, and he can work with company based out of Gurgaon, so that on-site working has to go away. And that's one more aspect which I believe will happen, which has happened to a lot of extent. People are getting that comfort, but will change drastically in another 4 to 5 years in future finance office.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think it's a very clear trend that the future finance office will be, obviously taking away all the mundane activities or transactional activities. There is no rear view mirror driving, it's actually a forward mirror driving, right? So, the organizations, the finance has to support the business to be able to take right decisions instead of just only, showing what the numbers are, right? Because those numbers will be available through dashboards, they will be available, real time, they will be available through AI, or whatever modules you have actually implemented in your organization. The other thing, and it is happening even today also, a lot of CFOs, if you really see, they are actually IIT, IIMs, if I can use the institute's name, effectively, a lot of CFOs today, in fact, one of the companies I was working, there was a need for me to recruit an engineer and a CA for an audit job. And the reason is that if a chartered accountant just goes, he doesn't know what's the technical aspect of the business, and how do you really find the mistake if at all you have to audit something. It's a very, very specific requirement of that particular business, because the chartered accountant has to learn too many times, even though learning and unlearning is one of the aspects of it, but you cannot actually get the technical aspects, naturally. So it takes a long time. So if you have got somebody, let's say from a chemical engineering or a mechanical engineering, and then having a chartered accountant or a cost accountant for that matter, have actually helped us, because the guy does not need to have a basics in place. And on the top of it, digital is coming in. So, we have been always talking, the technical guys, which means the IT guys have to again reskill and, continue to reskill themselves, on a periodic basis. I think the time is not that far even for the profession of finance, that we will have to continue to reskill ourselves. And, we have seen it in taxes, 2013 companies have changed. Income tax has changed, now wages act is coming in, and a lot of things are going to come. So unless and until we are agile to be able to actually cater to those requirements, I can tell you, the team cannot actually handle. The team cannot handle. And unless and until we have the team who are going to support the CFO, I think, the CFO is as good as his team. So, effectively, you can actually do it. But nevertheless, I'll come back now to the audience now. Any comments? Yes. You can take this. This is working now.
Thank you. I think a lot of things been told on digitalization, how we are improving and adopting technology. But if you take one step back, why we have done all this is to predict early and to remain ahead of the curve and maximize the opportunities. Right? So, but how, looking forward, I see the changes will be more frequent, the challenges will be more difficult, and the transformations will be short-lived. Now, keeping these two scenarios in mind, I feel strongly that the finance fraternity should adopt something which is or skill themselves something on problem solving. How to look at a problem, how to break it into smaller pieces and address those problems. I think that is an essential skill which we need to adopt.
Oh, so I not repeat technology enablement, that has to be there. There is no two doubts about it. But I think we have to really do a paradigm shift. All these days, in my opinion, we have been sitting in a corner office with no access to anybody. लोग जाने से डरते हैं. How can we make ourselves accessible to everybody? We have to do kind of a lateral movement in our finance function. And as I said, earlier, we also do finance. ये अपना आगे होने वाला है. I can tell you one or two areas where we can contribute a lot as a decision enabler. In my opinion, with so much of siloization between different functions, there is no function which can actually swim around everybody and get the decision done better than a finance person. I think we have not tried that particular aspect. If we really do that, we can really expand our role. We may not reach the CEO level, but actually CEO will take every decision validated by CFO. And this is what is going to happen. And by the way, numbers kahin nahi jaane wale. Because all these years, we have really churned so much of numbers that numbers mein hamari mastery hamesha rahegi. So when it comes to a particular, balance sheet aspect or any other aspect, your CEO is still going to go down to CFO. AI में बहुत देखा, बाकी सब में बहुत analysis किया, तुम देखो ये सही है कि नहीं. This is going to happen. I think one of the point that I will also take what Dr. Nanda said, forensic, because these are the skill sets which naturally come to us. All the days we have been auditing, so forensic audits is one area. In fact, I am saying why ESG, sustainability. The sustainability also would require audit. I think we are in a best position. So in my opinion, the field is wide open. We just have to expand.
Therefore, has to be tech savvy. But the future finance office, as Abhishek was mentioning, we go back to the institute, but we also need to figure out what is our responsibility. What is our responsibility within the organization? So I think we have to ensure that working with the CEO, we need to actually get the, the tech piece upgradation across the organization. So it's not just about finance. We have to work hand in hand with the CEO so that it can happen. For example, in L&T Finance, what we have done is we have tried to democratize AI. What that means is we started having seminars internally, which are being done by our technology teams. And they have the ability to actually undertake these seminars and educate people about how this AI is to be used. And we also provided Gemini to each and every individual within the organization, free of cost. And we have been encouraging them to, through some contests, to come forward and come up with new ideas which can be figured out. And we have started since last 2 years. We have a Race 24 and Race 25. These are two events which we have been doing, where AI ML is right at the top, and that's the basic topic that we get all the panelists, all speakers from across the globe, and this has actually helped getting ideas not just for our company but for the whole financial services industry. And it's very important that we gather this, and we unless we do this kind of exercises, it involves a lot of money. We have ended up spending 15 crores for the event this year. But the kind of upgrade that an organization can have, the kind of ideas that can come to the fore, which can be utilized for the future.
Office are only 3 kinds of people. The first one would be the hard worker. The second would be the ones who would analyze data very well. And the third one would be who would upskill their job or disrupt their job and motivate people to upskill or disrupt their job.
I think I wanted to add into the future of finance office. I think the gathering here as CFOs will have a bearing of how do you set that roadmap into the future. And primarily where I'm coming that from is that, as we have to incorporate technology, the decision would come to us in terms of opening up the data layer for the insight layer. So now whatever AI you would want to do it, now you would have to be comfortable to open up the data layer to maybe a third party app, maybe certain startups who are willing to bring in value into that. So how comfortable are we? How do we do that transition? I think having that roadmap would really help take this forward.
Soft, very sweet. But we need that common fights also in the office. All meetings are recorded. And Copilot does the minutes of the meeting. And it doesn't even understand certain language the way we speak. It's in something and people are blindly forwarding. So technology is good, but somewhere we are losing the human touch in those technology. So we also need to be careful who should we enable and how should we enable.
Empathy is what you are referring to, but I can tell you one thing, CFO roles or the CFO office roles will continue. And the simple reason is, which I think we all understand, and yesterday Dr. Partha Sarthi actually did mention which पीना. अभी CEO को अगर credit लेना है, तो किसी के ऊपर तो blame डालना पड़ेगा ना भाई. So effectively it is the CFO. Generally you will find, he is the guy or she is the person who would basically be the bad person in the eyes of the organization, so that the CEO actually can steer the organization the way he or she wants, right? So I think that cannot be obviously taken away. I don't think so that whatever I'm saying is is not your experience, right? I think it's very very clear. किसी को भी होगा, you are a bad person in front of the organization to get the things done. That will happen whether AI comes in, something else comes in. I can tell you. And empathy is very, very important for the role which we play, and that will continue, forever. I don't think so, the organizations would actually go away with it. And people talked about work from home and things like that. I think one of the issues which all the organization faced was, connect to the organization, right, at the first place. And that's where the organizations wanted everybody to come back. But let's see, how the future looks like. Some people predict that it will be work from home, but it may not be a great idea, as I can tell you. But thank you so much for your time. Sorry, I had to rush this session given Abhishek, otherwise he will miss his flight and he will actually blame me now as a moderator. So thank you so much guys, for having patient learning, and I hope you enjoyed the session, and the lunch is going to get served now immediately after.